LTT network connecting you to a seamless tomorrow. LTT network company consists of 4 major team members, which is including me, Yudana Hanis, and my other 3 teammates, which is one Muhammad Shafrul Aiman, Ahmad Adam, and also Muhammad Ibrahim Shah. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to LTT Network, where we offer effortless and dependable home networking solution. In a world where connectivity is paramount, we understand the importance of strong network. Our dedication is in crafting cutting-edge, user-friendly solution that seamlessly transform your home into a connected heaven. We are committed to excellence and prioritize simplifying the intricacies of modern connectivity. LTT Network is your reliable partner for achieving an optimally efficient home network. Join us on this journey as we unveil the future of home networking. In our highly connected and technology advanced home network, we rely on a trusted internet service provider Time for fast and dependable internet. We have also chosen a versatile Huawei service, which include various networking tools that works together to give us a cutting-edge online experience. This setup caters to a different needs of our household, like streaming high-quality videos, playing online game without delays, and handling heavy tasks from home. It creates a strong and secure digital environment, surpassing the expectation of everyone in a home. From smartphone to laptops, tablets, and gaming console, our network ensure efficient data transfer, internet access, and inter-device coordination. Ultimately, it empowers a modern and interconnected lifestyle, allowing the household of 5 people to study, stream content, and play game with ease. In the hierarchical network design of a home network, where a household of 5 individuals relies on wireless connection for their computer, tablets, and smartphone, the backbone of the interconnected setup is Time Wi-Fi Internet Service Provider. The wireless service provider connects the house via router, serving as the central hub for distributing high-speed internet access to various devices within the home, creating a network that seamlessly enables web browsing, streaming, communication, and myriad of online activities for all residents. The network also has a security measure in place, such as encryption and password protection, to safeguard against unauthorized access. Now, let's dive into the layers of a home network, where responsibilities may be less rigidly defined compared to the large network. Starting with the physical layer responsible for the actual physical connectivity of devices and transmissions of data signal. Moving on to the data link layer, the network layer, the transport layer, and finally the application layer. In a home network, this layer works together to ensure a smooth, reliable, and efficient network experience.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Shafra Aiman from Muhammad Sanusi. Today I will presenting about a cable in home network. So in this project there are two fiber optic cable and the power supply cable. So for the first one, fiber optic cable are directly used at the router. They are mainly employed in larger telecommunication system and for transmitting data over long distance. Uh, Internet service provider, the ISP, use fiber optic cable to link from our home to the broader internet network. The ISP provide us with equipment such as the ONT optical network terminal, or we call it modem. The modem will the function of the modem is to transform the fiber optic signal into something that our house will use, so for such as converted it to Ethernet. We call it Ethernet. This Ethernet signal from the ISP equipment connect to our home router. The router then distribute this internet connection to our device via Wi-Fi, which is more suitable for shorter distance within our home. So fiber optic cable are vital for long distance data transmission in getting internet to our home. Once it reach our home, it convert into a format compatible with our router and internet device. For the second cable is a power supply cable. The power supply cable for our home network play a crucial role by providing necessary energy power for our router to work. The router serves as the main hub for our home network, responsible for directing data between our local device and connecting them to the broader internet. To do this, the router contains electronic components like processor and memory, all of it need energy power. So this power supply cable typically has a plug on one and an end like this one that goes into the standard socket standard electrical outlet or a surge protector, and the other and connect to the router. When we plug it in, it will supply the power that need for the router to function. This allows the router to carry out its tasks such as routing data between our local device, managing internet connection, and assigning IP address. Most routers have indicator lights that show their status, and when the power supply cable is properly connected, this light typically light up indicating that the router is on or working. With the router powered, it can establish connection between our device like computers and smartphone and tablets and the TV and the internet, offering service like Wi-Fi. In short, the power supply cable is essential for giving the router the electrical power it needs to act as a central networking device in our home network, facilitating data routing and connecting our device to the internet. It's a fundamental part of our home network setup.
Okay, welcome to the next segment, which is 4.0, the Internet Working Devices. The first device that we have is a wireless router. The brand is a Huawei Optic X-Star, and the serial number is HG8145X6. So the spec of it is it contains 4 GB Ethernet port, which is the first one is one POTS port, one USB port, 2.4G, which is 2 times 2 MIMO, and plus 5G 2 times 2 MIMO. So for the remote, is IP is 192.168.100.1, and the username is admin, and the password is time HN9S that can default to the Wi-Fi, to the wireless router. Sorry. So for the mesh router, we have Huawei HONT. So it is a dual band mesh Wi-Fi. It is a wireless connection. The speed of it is 867 megabyte per second on 5 GHz connection and 300 megabyte per second on 2.4 GHz connection. So it uses 4 internal antennas, and also it contains 3 LAN ports on the mesh router. So the IP for the mesh router is 192.168.101.1. The unit is also an admin, and the password is timer C69. The SSID is blazing speed times 6F42, and the line key is BHWP RC69. So for the laptop that we have in our network is HP EliteBook G2, which is smart laptop, and also a Windows laptop for my friends. So the spec with it, all of the laptops are usually come with an Intel Wi-Fi or Intel dual band wireless AC8260, which is a wireless adapter. So the remote of it is the IP that we'll be using is 192.168.100.2 until 192.168.100.6. So the security is a WPA or WPA2 personnel. Now for the smartphones, in the household there are Android and Apple. And the spec that we'll be using in the phones are Wi-Fi 802.11 and also dual band and Wi-Fi direct. So for the remarks, the IP that we'll be using are 192.168.100.7 until 192.168.100.9, and the security that we'll be using is a WPA or WPA2 personal. So that's all of the internet networking devices that we have in our network.
The current network could only handle the devices that are already available in the household. It does not have the capability for accepting newer devices and will have a lot of problems with reliability once there's a lot more devices that are in the household. So in order to prevent that from happening, a network upgrade that can be suggested will be as simple as a bandwidth upgrade. So for a typical household, it would usually have around a bandwidth that is around 30 to 100 megabits per second. That's usually more than sufficient. But for a large household such as this one, you may need up to 1 gigabit per second of bandwidth. If the household consumes a lot more bandwidth, then they might need up to 2 gigabits per second of bandwidth. So there is a lot of internet service providers that do provide bandwidth up to 1 gigabit per second, such as Time and Unify. So the second method to upgrade the network will be bandwidth limiting. So bandwidth limiting is an effective method that can be employed to improve the network by making sure that each devices have their own set of bandwidth limit. For example, a printer might have like around only 10 megabits per second, while a television might have like 300 megabits. By default, the router would equally distribute this bandwidth to all of the devices equally. Now, this is wasteful as some devices do not actually require that much bandwidth. So to do so, you can to allow bandwidth limiting. You can try to access the router's default gateway, and in there you will find a option for bandwidth control, which will allow you to add rules to each devices so that they'll have their own limited bandwidth. So the third method will be to deploy switches. So why switches is because we want to make sure that the stationary devices such as laptops and computers do not compete with the portable devices like smartphones, like smartphones and other and tablets. So this will allow the portable devices to have a much more reliable wireless connection, while the stationary devices will use a wired connection, which is always have faster speeds and also more reliable. So an example of the switch that can be deployed over here is the D-Link DGS 105A, which has around 5 gigabit ports. So the final one will be to add additional meshes. So that by adding additional meshes, it will allow the Wi-Fi to have covered certain Wi-Fi dead zones. What dead zones means that is the places where the Wi-Fi is weakest. Now the difference between the Wi-Fi mesh and an extender is that an extender acts as a separate device from the router itself. Meanwhile, the Wi-Fi mesh, it unifies with the router itself, so it acts as a one giant network instead of just separate devices. So the mesh that can be used here alongside with the current router would be the Huawei WA8021 V5, which has a dual band of 2.4 GHz and also 5 GHz.
Without further ado, I will continue for the conclusion for this project. So in conclusion, the LTT network is dedicated to providing an efficient and reliable home networking solution that prioritize simplicity and performance. The network design involves a hierarchical structure with the Time Wi-Fi internet service provider serving as the backbone of the network, connecting to a Huawei router that distribute high-speed internet access to various devices within the home. Security measures such as encryption and password protection are in place to ensure the privacy. Uh, Also, LTT network offer a robust and reliable home networking solution, and it is prepared to adapt and upgrade to meet the evolving connectivity needs of the household. The emphasis on security, performance, and scalability ensure that this network can support modern digital lifestyle. That's all from our presentation. Thank you. Bye.